If you're a Declan Rice or a Moises Caicedo, I'm sorry, we're probably not going to be talking about you in the next 15 minutes. We're here for those players that, of course, we care about in Fantasy Premier League. Let's start us off with some of those done deals. And one that we've forgotten about because it happened a while back is Christopher Nkunku coming to Chelsea. And this is super exciting, especially under Pochettino. So what do we know about Nkunku? Well, in the Bundesliga, he's been good. So good that the season before last, he was voted as player of the season in the Bundesliga. And when you look at his conversion rate for goals and assists in the last couple of seasons in the league, he's just short of a goal or an assist, so one FPL return every time he plays. Now, what's really interesting is the positions he plays in, because what do Chelsea need? We all know it. Every pundit, every commentator, every game for the last 6 to 12 months, all we've heard is Chelsea need a striker. Is Nkunku an out-and-out 9? No, he's not. Can he play as an out-and-out 9? Yes, he can. Will that be his position at Chelsea? We just don't know. Will he be listed as a midfielder or forward? Again, we don't know, because when we look at his time in the Bundesliga, he's mainly played as a second striker. He has played a bit as a 9. He has played as an attacking mid. He's also played a little bit out on the right-hand side. So a little bit like, say, for example, in terms of variety of position, you could argue Kai Havertz is someone similar. So if we see him as an out-and-out 9, then your conversion rate could be really useful. Because let's have a look. In the 4 games he played last season for Leipzig as an out-and-out 9, check this out. This is from Transfer Market. 4 games, 4 goals, 3 assists. That's not too shabby. That's where we kind of want to see him. A lot will depend on if Lukaku comes back to the bridge. But regardless, I think Nkunku is going to be a brilliant FPL option for us. Will we dive straight in? No, probably not. How much will he cost? Again, that's tricky. Will he be listed as a forward or a midfielder? I'm going to take a punt and say he's going to be listed as a forward, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was a mid. And I'm going to say he's going to come in at 8.5, maybe 9 million. Now, that might seem low to many of you, but don't forget, all those Chelsea players are going to have big price reductions next season anyway. So Sterling, for example, will be of a similar price. So that's where we're at with Nkunku. Let's move on to another of the done deals before we go and talk about some of those heavily rumoured transfers that involve the likes of Cancelo and Maddison and Kane. But let's talk now about Alexis Mac Allister. He's moved to Liverpool. It looks like a very smart move for Liverpool. They need a midfielder. They need a midfielder that can play a variety of roles. We know Mac Allister can play as a 10. He can play as an 8. He can play as a 6. What's his best position? It's hard to know because under De Zerbi he was moved around a lot. And actually for Argentina in the World Cup, we saw him in quite an advanced midfield role and that really suited him. And I wonder if that's where we'll see him at Liverpool. But in the midfield 3 at Liverpool, do we really see high volume players at Liverpool with regards to goals and assists under Jurgen Klopp? No, we don't. The front 3, the full-backs, that's where we see the attacking returns. The midfield 3, whoever the personnel have been in there, really haven't been producing regular FPL points. I mean, let's name some players. Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago, Keita, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott. Not really FPL options. Maybe Mac Allister could be that, but the one thing we knew about him at Brighton, and by the way, his returns last season in the Premier League, 10 goals, 2 assists, but he was on penalties. You take penalties off him, loses a few of those goals. Will he be on pens at Liverpool? Absolutely not. What will his price be? I think he probably comes in at 6.5 or 7 million, and he'll, of course, be a midfielder. Do I think he'll be a good FPL option next year? Probably not, for the reasons just stated about Jurgen Klopp's midfields. Is it brilliant business for Liverpool? Absolutely it is. Talking of brilliant business, let's now talk about the club that have let Mac Allister go, and that is Brighton, because João Pedro was a really early move for De Zerbi. And again, this feels like a match made in heaven when we talk about versatile players that can play in a variety of attacking roles. João Pedro fits that bill, and under De Zerbi, we've seen him play with quite a fluid system up top. Like at times it's a front 3 with 2 wide men and 1 focal point. At times it's the 2 striker approach. We've seen Welbeck and Ferguson play together. We've seen Undav come in. So it'll be interesting to see where João Pedro plays at Brighton. But regardless, he's going to be a threat. And of course, this is a team, we haven't mentioned the likes of Enciso, the young talent coming through there. A lot of South Americans in there as well. João Pedro will love that. So look, in the Championship last season at Watford, he was brilliant. 11 goals, 4 assists, not too shabby. I think he probably comes in as a forward. And I think he probably comes in, I'm going to say 6 million. which could be good value. I don't think we're going to move there straight away. Of course we're not. But just one to monitor. So look, there are 3 of the done deals. But now let's talk about some gossip. Let's talk about some speculation. Absolutely love some of the rumours we're seeing. Now, we'll start with one of the biggest stories, and it will be the biggest story this summer if he leaves Spurs. And that is Harry Kane. Now, Real Madrid need a number 9. Benzema's gone. United need a 9 because Weghorst isn't that guy. Martial's always injured and Rashford's clearly better on the left. And even if he's not, they need an alternative. But will Harry Kane give Spurs another season? And I guess that's what it comes down to. Every season we say this, don't we? But if we go off what the bookies suggest, where will Harry Kane be at the end of the transfer window? The bookies have it slightly in favour of the fact he stays at Spurs. The second preferred option by the bookies is to go to Real Madrid. And then at between 3 and 4 to 1, we have the Man United option. Now, that's the option we're really interested in with regards to Fantasy Premier League. Stays at Spurs. Of course, he's a good FPL option. And by the way, Big Ange coming in at Spurs should be good for Harry Kane. We know he plays attacking football. If we saw what Kane did last season in the Premier League, with different managers, in a rubbish team, not playing good football, he's clearly at the height of his career. This is the most informed, clinical Kane arguably we've ever seen. Next season could be great for him if he stays at Spurs. If he goes to Man United or Real Madrid, of course, I think that theme absolutely continues. Arguably, he should be getting more goals because he's playing in a better team. Now, at Man United, he'll be so highly owned because we always see Man United tax with FPL because there's more Man United managers in terms of FPL managers around the world than any other team. United, the most popular team, most supported team. Therefore, United players, even when they're rubbish, still sometimes have high ownership. Harry Kane goes to Man United. Him and Haaland will be in absolutely every team, and we'll see Salah's price of ownership massively drop. So just one to monitor there. Look, maybe it will be a freemium draft for many, regardless of where Kane goes, because he's been quite outstanding, hasn't he? He's been so good of late and a bit under the radar last season. Let's talk about now some other moves. And look, the next few moves are going to involve Man City and Arsenal. They're going to involve Brentford and Spurs. And they're going to involve Leicester. We're going to start with some of their clear outs. So all the clubs that are kind of on the edges of Champions Leagues or on Champions Leagues, like your Newcastles, Spurs, United, Arsenal. All 4 of those clubs are linked with James Maddison. The favourites to land James Maddison this summer are clear and away Newcastle. And then you look at Spurs as a second option if we go by bookies odds, which are often fairly accurate. And then the outside bets are United and Arsenal. Newcastle feels so obvious to me. Yes, they're a club that will make him the big fish. And I think he wants to be a big fish. Not necessarily in a small pond, but he wants to be a big fish. He'll be the main man at St James's Park. I think Eddie Howe's football will be attractive to him. I think the project will be attractive. I think the fan base is attractive too, right? Hey, I think the nightlife might be attractive. I don't know if James Maddison's a party boy or not, but I think Newcastle's probably a pretty fun place to live as someone in their mid-20s. So Leicester last season, at times were criticised for not making the most out of James Maddison because they were playing with a 4-3-3 quite a bit under different managers, to be fair. Dean Smith came in and tried changing things, but at times, even there, we saw a 4-3-3. Does a 4-3-3 get the best out of James Maddison if he's playing on that right-hand slot of the 3? No, it doesn't. But under Leicester, especially early on under Rodgers, in the season just gone, we saw Maddison drifting infield quite a lot. He was given licence to go into that 10 role, and he did really well, even in a team that was struggling in Leicester. Now, Newcastle play a 4-3-3, and Eddie Howe occupies that right-hand spot, usually with an Almiron when fit, but we've seen Jacob Murphy come in and get minutes. Now, is Maddison better than Murphy? Absolutely. Almiron had an amazing start to the season last year, but of course, if they sign Maddison, you would think Almiron's on the bench. There's not really too many routes to the starting 11 for Almiron if it's not on that right-hand side. Unless there's a system change, and I don't think there will be, 4-3-3 has served Howe so well, I think Maddison looks tailor-made to come in on that right-hand side. Or if he mixes things up and goes with a number 10, then of course you've got 2 striker alternatives. We haven't seen Isak and Wilson play together, but maybe that's something Howe is thinking about. A front 2 with a number 10, and Maddison is one of the few out-and-out 10s in the Premier League. Therefore, I think he's perfect for Newcastle with regardless of the system they go to. This is a move I really like, and this is a move I think we'll be seeing in the next couple of weeks as a confirmed move. Another guy that's so likely to move on this summer is David Raya of Brentford. Arguably the best goalkeeper of the season last year, or last season in the Premier League. When we look at FPL, he got the most points, got the most bonus points. I think he may have got, he was certainly top 3 for the most saves as well. Now, Raya is incredible with his feet. He's a brilliant shot stopper, and big clubs, of course, are sniffing around. He's going to go on to bigger and better things, with all due respect to Brentford. Brentford have already signed a keeper. This could be a backup choice, or it could be someone to come in and replace Raya. But Raya's out of contract, I think, at the end of 2024. They're gonna want to sell him this summer to get something from him. And Spurs, the most likely candidates to recruit, because we know Lloris is likely to be off. We know Forster's not brilliant. Maybe they see him as number 1, but he feels like more of a number 2 at Spurs. But there's other clubs looking at goalkeepers too. You know, Man United linked with Raya. Chelsea linked with Raya. But Spurs feels like the most obvious there. Such a good keeper, and he'll be a brilliant FPL option. If Man City are willing to sell him to Arsenal, then João Cancelo is tailor-made for that football club. Does Pep want Cancelo? Clearly not. Can we see Cancelo coming back into that City squad? I don't think we can. Do Bayern want him? Maybe, but will they buy him? I'm not so sure. Would Cancelo like a move back to the UK to play for Arsenal, to play for a manager he knows very well in Arteta? Remember, Arteta coached him. Remember, Jesus and Zinchenko both went from Man City to Arsenal last summer, probably because of Arteta. Again, he made Jesus and Zinchenko 2 of his key men at Arsenal, and he'd do exactly the same with João Cancelo. Now, Cancelo of course, can play right back or left back. I think he prefers playing right back, and we would see him in the kind of Ben White position at right back, and I think that's a huge upgrade. White had a really good season. Arguably, he's more of a centre-back playing at right back, and João Cancelo can come in and do that inverted midfield role so well, which we often see from Zinchenko on the left. But if he wanted to go and use that role down the right, we've got that tailor-made in Cancelo, whether he's playing right back, left back, or in midfield. João Cancelo, in the last 2-3 seasons, has been one of the top 3 standout FPL defenders in the game. You'd put Trent in that category, probably above him. But other than Trent, we've seen Chilwell and James and Robertson all have their moments. But João Cancelo is brilliant for the game we know and love, Fantasy Premier League. Shots, assists, bonus points, and clean sheets when he was at City. But at Arsenal, he would absolutely get that. I think if he goes to Arsenal, he'll be listed as a 6 million defender straight away, but I think we'll see that price rise really quickly. This would be a really exciting one, and if it happens, I'm going to be so excited, and I think we'll see him at like 50% ownership come game week 1. This could be a big one for FPL. This could be a big one for the Premier League. Do Man City, however, want to sell to a rival that took them so close to the Premier League? It wasn't a mistake making it with Jesus and Zinchenko. They got good money, but I don't know if Pep was looking at those moves thinking, I'm going to be selling to an out-and-out competitor that's going to run me so close in the Premier League. I think what Arteta's done at Arsenal was probably even surprised Pep. Therefore, Cancelo going there to strengthen them, it might be a sale Man City are really reluctant to make. Maybe he goes back to Serie A. He's played for Juve and Inter. Maybe he stays at Bayern Munich. But I would love to see him come back to the Premier League in Arsenal. So guys, there we go. Thank you so much for watching this video. There'll be some content through the summer. Of course, there will be. If you like the kind of non-FPL related videos like this, I mean, everything always links to FPL, but do hit the like button and subscribe. And you'll also see loads of 60-second shorts on this channel, loads of which about general football chit chat. But for now, guys, I'll see you very soon.